So the Diddy case has reached a verdict, and as many of you guys probably already know, he has been found not guilty on the two most serious charges, which were basically racketeering, also known as RICO, and also the S trafficking. For the most part, it is a huge possibility that he will still do some jail time, and he has already served jail time. He also is going to possibly have a sentencing on October 3rd, but there's a huge inclination that his sentencing is not going to be as severe. I mean, he's definitely not going to do life in prison. Possibly, maybe 2 years. Some say even up to 10, but I do not see that. But I will go into his astrology of what occurred today, and we will look at his chart and see what could possibly have been benefits and also areas that have, had indicators that yes, he did serve time, and yes, he possibly can still serve time. So some of the things that automatically stand out to me when I look at his chart. So as a whole, Sean Combs is a sun in Scorpio, and it's believed that he is a moon in Virgo. We do not know his whole birth time, so we're going to go ahead and use his birth time as a Scorpio rising. So it's really going to be hard to acknowledge some of the house placements. One of the things that definitely does stand out to me is that energy that is currently occurring right now. So Sean Combs is basically the inner wheel, and the outer wheel is the current transits. Now, for most people, a lot of people look at the energy of Saturn when it comes to jail time, or even the area of Uranus. Now, Uranus is sometimes associated with energies of like mass groups, rebellions, which possibly could lead to the areas of gangs, racketeering, organized crime. So what's interesting is with his energy of the Uranus is we see that it is aligned quite nicely with not just the movement of being kind of close to the energy of Taurus, but it's also in a critical degree. Uranus is getting ready to transition over into Gemini by the end of, I believe, next week, I believe on the 5th, Uranus is transitioning over to Gemini. July 4th is a very high energy day. The astrology for July 4th is very big. I'm not going to get into it on this video, but there's a lot of movement that is going on in the cosmos. Now, Uranus in some areas represents the area of like gangs, right? And we believe in some ways, and also organization and being a rebel. And it is believed to be seen in the energy around his movement of the 7th house, but we don't know for sure. But what we do know is that this Uranus has a trine with his natal Mars. Now, Mars is about the energy of passion, and it's also about the energy of like aggression. And I almost feel like this energy kind of gave him a burst. As you saw, like his family was automatically like celebrating. Like they're like, yes, he's not doing life. We know he's probably going to do some time, but we don't know if it's going to be that much. And they were hoping that he was going to go home today, which he was denied bail. And many people are like, well, his charges now are not as severe, but the judge basically said like, yes, he has been known for domestic violence, and we think that these charges and the conviction should match some of, I guess, his punishment. So they said no, that they thought he was a risk of still contacting the victims, that they don't believe he's a changed man. And Mars, the energy of his natal Mars is in Capricorn. So to me, I definitely think this is going to upshift a course his, who he is. Like, is Sean Combs going to have a comeback? How is he going to rebrand himself this time? I don't know. Will he attempt to? I believe he will. Or will he go somewhere quietly and just fade from the public eye? I don't see that happening, do you? But one of the things that I want to point out is when we talk about him as a whole, is he feeds a lot off of media. Like, that's all he knows, is being in front of the light, being in front of the limelight. Like, I do not see him living a very humble, quiet life. So another thing that is very interesting when I am looking at Diddy's charts and some of the transits that are currently happening is we see that literally he has his North Node in Pisces. And also we currently have the North Node in Pisces, and it's literally about a full-on almost like fully returned. As we see the North Node, his natal North Node is at 19 degrees, and currently we have a North Node at 21 degrees. So it's like it just passed it up just a little bit. So we see that energy of Pisces. The North Node is considered like the dragon's head. It's really considered like the energy of obstacles. And Pisces is being very centered about awareness, and also this being the energy of awareness, the consciousness, self-awareness, spirituality, and also the consciousness of the being of the soul. So could this have been his biggest challenge? Was fighting the areas of his soul, fighting the demons, fighting the hardships of all of his deviant ways and all of his abusive ways, which also would make the South Node in Virgo, and that would also make his South Node in Virgo at 19 degrees as well, which is very interesting because that energy is aligned with the Virgo moon, and the Virgo moon in the energy of the feminine. We're also seeing that Virgo energy is met with the transitioning Mars as well. And that energy feels very emotional. It also feels very spontaneous. And it also feels like very domesticated. And a lot of people think that this could be an energy that could maybe bring an awakening for him in some presence. And what's also interesting about a North Node in Pisces is Pisces, they tend that energy where we see with Neptune, we also see that energy of delusions and also illegal substances. So could this be what will get him clean? Maybe. I would hope so, right? I also think that this shows that women aren't valued, right? I personally think that Rico was proven in what I heard of the case, that Rico and also racketeering was proven. We knew that he could not have gotten away with these crimes if he didn't have help from other people, and he did have help. So unfortunately, the jury didn't see it as many of us did, but whatever, right? Should he receive life in prison for his actions? I don't know. That's really something that the jury felt like, no, he shouldn't. Some people say yes, he should have. So when it comes to reading birth charts and deciding if people are going to, serve some time, one of the big indicators is the 12th house. What is going on in the 12th house? Do they possibly have a stellium in the 12th house? Do they have planets like Mars, Saturn, Pluto, or even Neptune in the 12th house? Because a lot of times that has energy of isolation. Unfortunately, we do not know his house placements. But we do see that North Node in the energy of Pisces, which does have some energy that resembles the 12th house. Also, what's interesting is the energy of Saturn. So while we don't see that movement of Saturn traditionally in the 12th house, or even maybe we would look at houses of the 9th, we can't see that in his chart. But what we do see is that we have a Mars that is in Capricorn, and also we have that energy of Saturn in Taurus, which is his natal Saturn in Taurus, and it also has a resemblance of where the Uranus is transitioning over, right, and moving to Gemini. So we do see indicators that he has served jail time and that he'll continue to serve jail time. Will it be life? I don't think so. Will it be maybe 2 to 5 years? Possibly, if not least. But one of the things that does stand out to me is in his natal chart is that he does have a Mercury in Scorpio that is opposing his Saturn in Taurus, which makes me feel like there will be lots of isolation in energies of his communication.